Everybody go tapping with the pop with Tigmatic.
Y'all tune into the Pop Podcast. And guess what? There's an episode of me on
and you are tuned into the Pop Podcast.
And with the Pop Podcast with my boy Tigmatic. You hear me? It's going down.
To follow the Pop Podcast with Tigmatic.
That's that number one.
That's that number one.
Louder. Say it louder.
When he was in the streets of Philly, playgrounds, he was like, you know what they call him?
What?
Black Jesus.
American hustler. Tone Trump. West Philly to the world. Let's win. Bunch of shooters with no aim. They just happy to be spraying. They praying that I fell. I'm just happy that they praying. Had a convo with my son. We only 3, but he's so smart. Told him only fear law and stay away from all these marks. Walking through the vibe, I got Versace on. They ain't really one, see the Aki on. I trust the cutter, stay away from suckers. If it ain't the Trumps, it's the forces or the butters. 10 toes down, I'm hustling like you should be. Rich Muslim, know the feds won't book me. In the Sprinter talking money with my ox. They tryin' by the bar, I'm tryin' by the block. Real estate, feel the hate. Before the deal, I've been a great. I'm still a great. You still hating. Penthouse suite, OJ and turkey bacon. And I need the grits with the cheese in it. Big boy rollie with the freeze in it. Weird niggas always trying to talk that rap shit. Me and Low in the back talking trap shit.
West Philadelphia, born and raised on the playground. That's where I spend most of my days. The summers is hot, the winters is cold. Welcome to my ghetto. West Philadelphia, born and raised on the playground. That's where I spend most of my days. The summers is hot, the winters is cold. Welcome to my ghetto.
Some other shit. They kill at will. Fresh Prince of the ghetto, man, I feel like Will. Nitty home, she home, now we just need kill. Inshallah, make dua for the appeal. This ain't a rap song, this is real life. This ain't that rapper jewelry, baby, this is real ice. VVS's, look at the clarity. I'm a Muslim dying, look how they stare at me. Another sock drive, that's for charity. I'm the greatest, stop comparing me. Say a prayer for my Akis and themselves. May Allah have mercy and keep us under him. Say a prayer for my Akis and themselves. May Allah have mercy and keep us under him. Say a prayer for my Akis and themselves. May Allah have mercy and keep us under him. Say a prayer for my Akis and themselves. May Allah have mercy and keep us under him. West Philadelphia, born and raised on the playground. That's where I spend most of my days. The summers is hot, the winters is cold. Welcome to my ghetto. West Philadelphia, born and raised on the playground. That's where I spend most of my days. The summers is hot, the winters is cold. Welcome to my ghetto.
V-Ray's going too hard though. Don't cry, dry your eyes till we go. When faith is low and trust is hard till we go. It's like I prayed and I prayed and I praise some more. It's like the desires of my heart won't on your mind no more. Drowned in the water, couldn't find you, no car, see a boat. Know why you ignoring me, yeah. Seen people blessed with my request, like now you gotta be teasing. Telling myself it's in due season, like I'm really believing. My blessing came once I realized delayed for a reason. You not hear me, yeah. Don't cry, dry your eyes till we go. When faith is low and trust is hard till we go.
Never plan ahead, live up in the moment. Put my trust in God, cause he never leave me lonely. I was trusting in my homies till he showed me they won't for me. I just wait on God, cause he'll remove them. Man of many talents, I just try my best to use them. Gotta feel my purpose, if I don't, my life was useless. This a different type of music, but who else would built to do this? I just wait on God and let him use me. When faith get low and trust get hard, don't cry, wait on God, on God, on God, on God.
Don't cry, dry your eyes till we go. When faith is low and trust is hard till we go.
Just wait on God.
Made up my mind that I can't be outside his will. That I'ma do nothing but trust him despite how I feel. When your emotions don't change your confession, it's real. You gotta keep your face strong. That's the simplest I know. Guard what you look at and what you let between your ears. God good, his showers of comfort outweigh all your stress. It's true, I had to share this good news to all my peers. Your timing, not his timing, and the spirit I heard him say. If he didn't do it, no, it's not because it couldn't be done. You just weren't mature enough to handle it. And he ain't just gonna bless anyone. Wait. On God. Don't cry. Dry your eyes. Just wait. On God. When faith is low and trust is hard. Just wait. On God.
Yo, what's up, y'all? You're now tuned into another episode of the Pot Podcast with Tigmatic. Listen, it's Monday. It's the beginning of the week. And as always, this episode is brought to you by Collywood TV, Collywood Radio, Dollar Radio, Going In Radio, 105.7 The Face, DamaniBrand.com, and NorthShadeDemoreBoutique.com. Hey, listen, I'm feeling okay today, and we got a community week episode. As always, y'all know what I do. Y'all know I'm an activist. Y'all know I do my thing, and I have one of my Justice family members, and also a member of the chapter as well. But she's one of my Justice families, and we are here to discuss the murder of her son, Elijah Timmons the third. So I'm just going to jump right into it. I'm not going to do the super crazy energetic bait today because this is a heavy subject. Y'all know how I am when it comes to these types of things. So without further ado, I give you the awesome mother of Elijah Timmons, Patricia King. How you doing?
Hello, thank you.
How you doing today?
I'm well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right. So what I usually do is I like to let my guests have the floor and introduce themselves. So if you could look into that camera and share who you are. I know you looking on that camera, looking down on that phone, but look in this camera now.
Okay,
I know I need you looking. Yeah,
okay,
I need you looking at that camera now.
I'm trying to get you shared. Trying to get you shared. So my name is Patricia King. I am Elijah Timmons' mother. Elijah is my middle son. He is my middle boy of three boys, and I had three daughters as well. So yes, Elijah was 30. He had just turned 30. This in the August before he was taken. So this happened on Thanksgiving night, actually, but it would have been the next morning because it had rolled into 2:30 that morning. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So if you can in detail tell the viewers and the listeners a bit more about what happened that night and to your knowledge, the way you can describe it to the best way, the best way you can. Just explain it.
Okay. So again, this was November 24th, 2023. We live in North Carolina. I live in Asheville, North Carolina. My son also lived in Asheville, North Carolina with me. He actually had just had a son with his girlfriend at the time. And we had Thanksgiving at my home. She was actually in Charlotte with her family. So we were all at my house. The deal was we were going to go from my home for me cooking and preparing dinner for basically 2 days until we ate. After he got off from work, he came to my house. Him and his siblings were at my house. Grandkids were at my house. And we were waiting on his girlfriend to come from Charlotte because she had spent Thanksgiving with her parents. And then we were going to leave from my house, go to his grandparents' house in Henderson County, Hendersonville, where this all happened. And then we were going to go from there to my mom's house. By the time we made it from my house to his grandmother's house, it was kind of late. Everybody was kind of, the kids are tired. So we were all thinking the thing to do would be instead of me going all the way to my mom's house after all this, because it was going to be a house full of people there too, crowded, and time for kids to go to bed. We said, hey, we're just gonna call it a night. My son decided he wanted to go to this party that they had been advertising for months, a Thanksgiving party. And pretty much people his age, everybody was going to go there on Thanksgiving night. It had been promoted and everybody was going to go there. He asked me, did I want to go? I told him, I would rather go back to Buncombe County and go out for other reasons. I didn't want to go to this particular party. They just was a younger crowd. And so he basically decided to go ahead and go. Him and Shay is the girl that he was going with at the time. They decided to stay. His dad was there, and his dad kept his son. So I make my way back to Buncombe County. I get myself ready for bed. He calls me to ask me if I was still going to go out. I told him I would if he came back, but at that point, I was pretty much going to stay in, because I didn't see anything going on. Everybody from Buncombe County was in Henderson County at this party. So I talked to him for a little while. We got off the phone. I dozed off. My daughter called me. I'm thinking she's calling me to check on me to see if I went out and if I had made it home. So I answered the phone. She's screaming on the phone, saying, "Mama, just get dressed, get up, get dressed." And I said, "What's going on?" And she says, "Just please, just get up and get your clothes on and let's go." I said, "What's wrong again?" And she said, "Dude." And dude is what I called Elijah. His friends called him Snoop, but I called him Dude. He actually got both nicknames from me, but I just chose Dude, and everybody else called him Snoop. Well, she said, "It's Dude." And I said, "What's going on?" She said, "Mama, just get your clothes on and come on." I knew he was at that club, so I knew I had to go to Hendersonville. I live probably 30 minutes away from this actual place, from the part of the city I was living in. I jumped in my truck. I just had on a pair of pajamas, no underclothes, and I say that for a reason. But I slid on some shoes and I ran out the door. As I made my way down the stairs, I just started screaming because my heart was just I felt crazy. I just all over my body. I felt this weird feeling all over my body. I get in my truck. What would have been those 30 minutes took me 9 minutes. I get to the exit, which was exit 49, and about maybe three and a half blocks, which would have been maybe 2 minutes from this exit. And I was on the phone this whole ride while, in between my daughter and somebody calling from the scene saying, "Hey, he's breathing, he has a pulse." That's not matching in my head as to what they're meaning. I'm just trying to get to my child. I don't know what I'm thinking.
Something happened to him.
Yeah, I just knew something happened, but I didn't know it was that that severe. And when she was saying it still just didn't match in my brain what she was trying to say. So as I approached the exit, I pull off the exit and there's a light there, and I was just gonna go through the light. And I just remember being in a pause section because the person on the phone was like, "He's breathing, you got to get here." I said, "Where's the police?" She said, "They're here." I said, "What are they doing?" She said, "Nothing." I said, "What do you mean nothing? Where's the ambulance?" And she said, "The ambulance is on its way." Oh, she didn't know where the ambulance was. I'm sorry. She didn't know where it was at. Um, so she just kept saying, "Please, whatever you do, just get here, get here." So then I see his dad's number on the phone, and I wanted to just like not speak to him because I knew he was there. I knew he was on the scene. And I swiped it. And when I swiped it, it answered it. And he says, "They just threw a sheet over our kid." So I still wasn't able to kind of understand what he was saying. That it just didn't match in my head, like it didn't make sense. And so I'm literally 2 minutes away from him, and I'm literally on the other line hearing, "Get here, get here. He's breathing. He has a pulse." So being me, I'm like, yeah, I need to figure this out. So I go to the scene. I pull in the parking lot. I see my son laying on the ground. He's half covered. He's got his left arm hanging out the sheet, like faced up, like he was to me. And his all you see was his dreads hanging out the sheet. I didn't see any kind of blood or anything. They had just thrown the sheet over him. And so I jump out my truck and I just run towards him. And I'm just saying, like, that's my child. Like, I'm trying to understand how did he have a pulse and how he's not breathing and all this right now. Now he's got a sheet over him. So the police they surround me. Um, I just remember feeling all the body from the police officers and their vests. They're like surrounding me. And I'm like, just please just let me check his pulse. Just let me put my foot on his wrist. Just let me check his pulse. That's all. I mean, I'll stop, I'll calm down.
So were they aware who you were at the time?
They very aware. Sorry. They were very well aware of who I was because my daughters were there and they were screaming, that's my mama. The bystanders were screaming, that's his mama. I was telling them I was the mom. And they were just like, you can't go there. And I'm like, I gotta check his pulse. And I just didn't hear. I wasn't trying to understand what they were saying. I just needed to get to my child because in my heart, I knew my child just wasn't gone. There's just no way. Like it didn't make sense how somebody was saying he's breathing, has a pulse, and then they threw a sheet over him. And I'm like, where's the ambulance? Where's somebody to check him? And she's telling me nobody's doing nothing. So that was just my mindset. So I just kept trying to go towards him. And as I took another step, they slammed me on the ground, um, putting their knees, their feet, elbows, all that in my back. I'm just in shock. Like, can you imagine pulling up, seeing your child in that position and trying to make sense out of that, trying to just process that? Um,
Take your time. Take your
I
time.
just
We here.
I just talked to him 2 hours before this, so it just didn't match in my head. He was in a good spirit. He wasn't the type to go out and start no mess. Like it didn't make sense. And so I see him, and then before I could even comprehend what's happening with that situation, I'm being slammed and the air is being knocked out of me. As soon as they slam me, they slammed me so hard that it just knocked the wind out of me. And I'm screaming, this is my child. Like, what's going on? Why are y'all doing this? Like, what's up? Like, I couldn't make it make sense. And they're yanking my arms around the back of my body so hard, like it's ripping, like it's pulling and yanking, like in this area to where I still, to this day, and it's been 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago, it's still hard for me to put my hands behind my back.
So, okay.
I'm just
before I say anything, I want to want the people to really understand what happened and what you just described. First of all, my condolences for what happened to your son. I think it's like no justice being given to you because of this circumstance and what happened, but also the fact that you were treated poorly by the police. So has there been any updates or any information given to you as far as the justice for your son? Tell us about that before I get into all these other questions that I actually have for you. I just want to ask you this first. So if you can tell me anything that you have recently or if they've done anything.
There's nothing been done besides I have been um silenced all over. Like they just rather me not bring up any of the facts about this case. Um and I speak facts because I speak receipts. Like any of the things that I'm going to tell you about this story, I can back it up by legitimate documentation.
Right.
So no, to answer your question, they have done the total opposite. Um when I was slammed and the wind was knocked out of me and I started to I'm just looking at this hand facing me and I'm just um I don't even know how to describe the immense, just, I was just like not, it was kind of out of body um feeling, because I'm just like, this is not happening. This has got to be a dream. Like this is not real. And I remember one of the officers saying, um, OF, she can't breathe, turn her over, because I had started feeling glitter across my face. Like I just started feeling glitter and I just went black. Because I couldn't breathe. They had my stomach, so I mean, on pavement, cold pavement. It was Thanksgiving night. It was 30 degrees, like it was cold. Um, and they're all on my back, so I can't get any air in my lungs because I'm all of my extremities are being cut off by knees and boots and legs. So I can't tell them that I can't breathe. I just stop breathing.
Do I
And
have permission to show the people the scene, what was going on, and how what you're saying look?
yeah.
All right. Folks, I'm gonna show you a bit of the scene, what was going on. And Patricia, if you can just explain what we're looking at
Okay.
as I show it. Hold on 1 second. All right, now, so like I thought, it's trying to give some type of, they have a problem showing this video. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to share my screen so that people can see from here. And I'm going to do it this way. And hopefully this works. I hope this works. Because it's like they're trying to put a block on this video.
Of course.
Yeah, and you spoke about this, that they would try to do this, and you were absolutely right. I'm still going to try to play it. Hopefully we can get it to play. Okay, it's not showing from there. Let's see if it goes. Here it is.
Oh. Yeah, this is.
What is this we're looking at here?
That is actually the detective showing me the murder 3 days after it happened to get me to identify the shooter. And the shooter is the guy that's in the gray pants and the black hoodie, and he has like a beanie on his head. That's Terrence. And my son is the guy in all black. And you see the girl pulling him because what they have done is they singled him out inside the bar and targeted him, um, approached him to try to get him to fight, and he just left the bar. And as he went out the bar, that same guy that's initiating that went through the corridor, and clearly he hit him, he assaulted him some kind of way, because the next time you see him, he's coming out the door and my son has his hands up and he's like in defense, backing up, like he don't know what's going on, he don't know what just happened. When he left the club, he just left and walked out, and people were leaving. It was 2 o'clock, so people were leaving out too, or after 2 o'clock. And the guy that did this to him was notified by the guy who drove the getaway car. And when he whistled or called his name, you seen him turn around real fast, and he, showed him that my son was leaving, and then he chased behind him. And then they disappear where there's no.
Oh my God, why are they doing this? Okay, it looks as if she might be getting a phone call. Can you hear? Yeah, that's probably what that is right now. She's getting a call. You know how this goes. Sometimes people try to call in the middle of, circumstances like this. So just give us a second. My guest will be back. And I'll try my best to upload more as we go along, so she can show it to you guys and she can explain it herself. This is kind of like the same thing that happened. There she is. I take it you got a call.
They just keep, I mean, if I don't, my family, if I don't answer, they think something's wrong. So they'll just keep calling. But I try to put the phone on do not disturb, and that's what I'm trying to do, is to block it, to keep from
All right, go
people
ahead, do your
calling.
thing. We're here. We're here.
Okay. So there we go. I'll put it on do not disturb so people, they won't do that.
All
Okay, I'm
right,
so sorry.
so here's the next one I'm going to pull up, and then you can narrate as they look.
Oh shit!
They're like playing these in small clips, though. I don't know why they're doing it like that. Because these are way longer than that.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
If you'll see everybody, if you see my son, he's in the black and he's backing up. The first part of the clip, you can kind of see him backing up and all of those people surrounding him.
Yeah.
This is them after they got him out the door. So like I said,
So wait, all of this was on social media?
Yes, people were on live, they were on Snapchat, they were on different platforms recording it. I guess this was, apparently um these groups of people live in a apartment complex that is just known for this type of violence. People that they decide that they just want to fight or they have beef with or any kind of whatever, they will wait till it's a club night or any time where there's an audience, and they target them, jump on them, and then they record it for fun. Um, that's just what they did. And they all are tight knit. They're family members. They grew up together. So me and my children are not natives of Asheville, and so, for whatever reasons, I'm hearing just different stories that people were just jealous of my sons because, I guess these women liked them, and so that was the problem. I don't think that it was anything else other than just jealousy.
Just being a fly dude.
Yeah. And he
Yeah.
wasn't even like a guy that was like, now my younger son who was killed in a car wreck almost 9 years ago, he was the one that liked to dress and the cars and all the stuff. And he worked, both of my boys worked. But he had a different swag. Dude was more laid back. He didn't care about all that fancy schmancy. He threw on a jogging suit and that was it. And I
So
think
let's
that
talk
was,
about dude a bit more.
yeah.
Let's talk about him. Give us some more in-depth, more detail about Elijah, what he was like, what his life was like before his untimely death.
He
Who
was
was he beyond this tragedy?
well, first off, when he was born, he I was told I wasn't gonna have him that day. They told me there's a watch me and send me home. And we were in Atlanta, East Point, and I got a bad headache. And my uncle took me to the hospital just to be checked out. When I got there, they said, "You're not going in labor. We're gonna send you home." And they put a monitor on me for an hour, and they said, "We're gonna watch you. We're gonna send you home." About 30 minutes in, I just noticed like um he was my fourth child. So I knew kind of what this was gonna how this went. So I'm noticing that things are not like as calm as they're trying to make it. Like something's getting ready to happen here. And so the nurse came in, she checked me, she said, "You're not dilated enough. We're gonna watch you for another hour, we're gonna send you home." She left probably for about 30 minutes, and then before she could get back, I was telling my cousin who was sitting there, something's happening. And he just popped out. Like he just popped out. And when he popped out, he had this look on his face that he's always had. It's kind of a mellow tone. He just really had never had any real expressions. He always had like his features were really prominent because he looked just like his dad. He looked like he um had a chip on his shoulder, honestly. I mean, he just did. He just looked like, I don't care about nothing. And people mistook that,
Yeah.
because people don't smile and show all their teeth. You got to have a problem. And he didn't.
Yeah.
He was really funny. He had this crazy laugh. Like, I know people say that about some people all the time, but when they say that, you know what they mean when they say the person has this crazy laugh. Like, people will really laugh behind your laugh.
Infectious.
Yes. So
Yeah.
he'll stand there. He's quiet. He'll look at you. He'll stand there. He'll watch the room, and he'll respond accordingly. But he's never like rah rah loud, trying to be seen, trying to be heard. Never, none of that stuff. Um, he did get in trouble along the way because I think that Elijah he was expected to be a grown man because he acted like a grown man.
Yeah.
He had an attitude of a grown person, so people looked at him as, oh, he's got to be a grown up. He wasn't. He was 16. He was 17 when he had his first child, maybe right before he turned 18. No, actually, he turned 18 and then he had his first child because three of his sons, he has five. Three of his sons were all born in August, and his birthday's in August. So,
Okay.
um,
So what
but
kind of father was he to his kids?
I just think that at first he thought it was really like he was in awe of his children because they looked like him. And he was just so happy to be a parent. And with that being said, at the same time, not really knowing how to be a parent. We
Right.
don't know at
There's
first.
no manual to being a parent.
Right. But he thought these were his friends. Like, he was like, this is my boy. Like, they all had a nickname. They all had, he just was so in love with them. He did have
That's
a troubled
awesome.
past because, he went about it the wrong way trying to support them. And so with that being said, just younger men, they're taught to toughen up, don't cry, don't show your emotions. So that was him. He thought, I got to do it this way, I got to do it that way, and sometimes he wouldn't listen to me. I'm not the dad. He had a good relationship with his dad for the most part. They had some rough times because we separated and we lived in different states. And so with that, it came a lot of letdown because his dad couldn't just come and show up.
Right.
He worked and he lived in a different state. So I think that really affected them. I did end up with a man that I was with from the time they were, I think dude was maybe three, um, up until he was grown. So they did have a father figure. Um, but we all
It
have.
just wasn't his dad.
Yeah, it wasn't his dad, but he loved
Yeah.
him. He loved him. He loved both of them. But I think if he had any issue, he took a lot of issue with his dad instead,
Yeah.
So he really was respectful to this guy. And not just God, but Gabe. But Gabe loved the kids loved Gabe. He's still in their life. He actually was really close with him, hanging out with him every day before all this happened. So he's taking this stuff with the loss of these kids, or our kids, because they're really all our kids, really hard. But Elijah, he had two sons with his first son's mom, and then they broke up and he had another baby. Kai is his middle boy, and then he got with Shay is the girl who was with him when this all happened that night. They had a son. And so he ended up with another son from the first baby mama before he after he passed away that he didn't know about. Um, and so he kept a close relationship with all of them because he expected them all to. These boys are brothers. They're gonna be in each other's lives. I need you guys to be mature, and you keep them, you see them. We all just he made sure that they all got along, and that was just what it. He didn't he didn't see it no other way. So we've kept it that way. And they all get along and they love the kids and they all see about each other's kids. And so I love that
Oh, that's
about them.
awesome.
Yeah, I love that about them.
So he seems like he was a very loving family man. You know what
He
I
loved them
mean?
kids. Now I can't say he was
Yeah.
all locked down in the house because he was just becoming himself.
Yeah.
He was in and out of jail from the time he was 17 because once you get a name and they don't, and it wasn't like I could see if my son was like a big time hustler or somebody out here just doing crazy stuff. He wasn't. And the little things that he done, and I'm not going to minimize because some of the stuff he just shouldn't have been doing. I'm that's just the honest in it. But
Right.
they would blow it up. I mean, if I went and smacked somebody, I'd probably get hey, show up at court. But if Elijah got smacked somebody, it would be
Because he had a record.
because he had
Yeah.
a record of $70 million
Yeah.
of bond just to aggravate him and keep him in jail. And he was smart, so he would read the laws and stuff while he was in jail, and he would figure out a way where they would have to let him out. So then they were really mad. So every time they
Oh
got him, they
yeah.
was like, "Oh, we're gonna figure out a way to keep you more now since you think you're
Oh yeah.
smart."
So he was very intelligent as
He was
well.
really intelligent.
Okay, that's cool. So let me ask you, what is one of your favorite memories that you had with Elijah that sticks with you till this day? Tell the
When he
people about that. Something sweet that you hold to your heart still to this day, and it's a great memory.
well, actually, two things. If I have to say this, when
You
he
can
was
do
little,
two. Do
when
what
he
you
was
want.
when he was little, he was so smart, but he was so little. Like he was a 2-year old, but people would say, "How old is that little boy? He talks so well, and he's riding a bike without training wheels, and he was 2." And I would say he's 2, and they were like, "There's no way that little boy is 2." But he was his own little man from all that. That's why I named him Dude because he acted like a dude. So
Yeah.
it was just always like he was always smarter than I thought he should have been at that age. Like I'm like, oh, how do you know this? How do the words he used, how he liked to do things. Like I bought him and his brother a game for Christmas. I'll come home and they have taken it all apart because they just want to put it back together. Drove me crazy doing stuff like that just to see if he could do it. That's the type of stuff that he would do. But the night he passed away, um, he was at work and he had been calling me all day. Like for this whole week before this happened, I had really a lot of time with him. And I just think that that was the grace of God giving me that time.
Yeah.
So I would pick him up for work. Um, I would pick him up for work and then take him, to Shay's with the boys or whatever.
Yeah.
And this particular day, he said, "Mom, can you come and get me?" And I said, "Well, I thought you're supposed to work at till 2." And he said, "They told me that I can get off early because it's Thanksgiving and I want to spend Thanksgiving with my kids." And I said, "Well, you know, we joked a lot." So I was telling him like, I was like, "Boy, make that money. Don't let that money make you. You all right?" I'm still cooking. I was still cooking, finishing up my dinner. And he says, um, "Well, come on up here." And I said, "Okay." So I stopped what I was doing, went to his job, sat in the parking lot, waited for him. He came outside and he said, "Mom, they telling me they want me to help them put up this Christmas tree, but that's all I'm gonna do. That's it. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to be with my family. Shay's on her way." So I waited for him. It was this guy in the parking lot that was homeless and he wanted to give him money to get something to eat. So he gave him money to get something to eat and he sent them inside. And he said, "Tell them that I sent you in so that you can get my discount." He was working at IHOP. And so we on the way home, I said, "Where you going?" He said, "Well, I'm gonna go to Shay's house and get clothes, get some of my clothes that I left and to bring to your house." And I said, "Okay." So I pull up, he goes in, he gets his stuff, we head to my house. And on the way there, he's listening to all these old school songs, and I'm like, "What you know about this song?" And just songs that are now embedded in me. I can't really listen to right now, but just listening to those songs, and we're talking, and he's talking about like how he wants to, just do all these things for his kids and take them to all these places, and how things are, he's glad that I stuck on him, and he's gonna make, do right. And we were talking about his brother that had passed away, and he was like, "Ma, I'm never gonna leave you. Like, you're gonna be good. Don't worry about that. Like, I'm here, and and it's gonna be okay."
Yeah.
And um, so we got to the house. Um, we were leaving, and I said, where you want me to take you?" He said, "I'm going home. I'm going with you." And so on the ride, we were just, like I said, we were talking and stuff. And then um we got in the house, and we started talking about his brother some more. His sister and all of us was in there talking. So he was talking about some memories that he had with his brother, but he was telling me that that he just appreciated me for all the stuff. He's like, you stayed on me, and I'm doing good, and I'm doing better, and all this stuff. So that was pretty much the gist of that conversation. They recorded a bunch of stuff. He started recording videos of him, the kids, the nieces, the nephews. He was in there just laughing and having a good time. And um
It's okay. Take your time. It's
kind of
okay.
like maybe he knew, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe his spirit knew, because I'd never seen him that happy. Like, I never seen him. um he's like I said, he's always funny, but this was something else. Like, I kept saying, why is he taking all these pictures? Like, he was not that. He was not the type of person that just liked to be in front of a camera and all that. So he was in there kneeling on the floor and hugging everybody. This picture actually was the last picture that I took with him. He
Let me see if I can get a full screen for you.
he was in it. I was in there. If you see,
My
I was
mother, my mama better than yours. Okay.
that's what that's what he put on Snapchat that night. But he was I was in there making banana puddings, to take out when we left. And he kept
Yeah.
saying, my sons called me baby. So he was like, "Baby, go on and get dressed so we can go." And I was like, "I'm not putting clothes on until I finish this, because I don't want to get stuff on my clothes." So he came over and grabbed me by the neck, and he was like, "Man, just take this picture because she's taking too long." And so I'm just grateful that he did that, because this was my last picture with him. And he said what he,
Mm.
you know what I'm saying? Like, no jab at nobody's moms, but he said what he said, And so he just that was just him. He
Yeah.
meant well. He realized that he had some changing that he had to do to be a better parent and do the things that he wanted to do with his kids. I think he, as he got older, he realized that he would rather have them all in one house. I think that's where he was like, "I wished I would have done it differently." Um, that type of conversation. He picked them up on the weekends and took them fishing every weekend, or they would all be at Shay's house, or Shay would be picking them up. So they all really are growing up together and know each other.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I got a little emotional with you.
Yes. I try not to.
You know, uh, you know, the relationships with sons and their mamas very special, you know. And I lost my mom. This is a 6 month. So, um I know how important that relationship is. And it is very important for a mom as well.
It is.
And I know that going through this is hard for you, because I was talking to a friend earlier today, and he said something to me, and it made me think about this. And it was, when you think about them, it makes you happy, but it never gets easy.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about that for you. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking about that for you, because losing a child is hard within itself, but to lose more than one is even more pain, you know. And the way your child left this earth, he didn't deserve that. You know what I'm saying? So my condolences goes out to you for that. But
Go out to you too, because I mean, I know this has got to be kind of hard, and I really appreciate it because I think that this sits close with you because of the
it
situation,
does. It
you know.
does.
So I definitely want to give my condolences. Your mom would be definitely proud, you know, and I
Yeah.
just you know what it's
Yeah,
like
let's
to
just
push
take a
through.
moment of silence for them
Yeah,
both. You know.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I gotta will it back in because I still gotta conduct this interview with you.
Okay.
Uh,
I think these relationships with mamas and sons are definitely symbolic just because of Jesus and his mama, you
that's
know.
right.
So um I think that's what I hope. I don't have any other um reason or way to describe how I've been able to kind of pull it in and endure some of the things that I've had to endure. Um but Jesus, but God, you know, I just
That's right.
there's no other I can't contribute to anything else other than the grace of God. I would not be able to sit up here and tell you this story. I've told this story so many times that my body is
Numb.
wow, just numb. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been living in fight, flight, or freeze for about 9 years now with these deaths. And so I know that that is a gift in itself. I know it may sound crazy to people, but I think that, you know, some people can't hold it without breaking down and stuff. And I just, sometimes I feel like, God, let me break down. And then I know that I'm not able to break down because He knows once I'm down, I'm down. So I can't, I have to get justice for my son.
Yeah,
Um,
and being strong for him is very important.
It is. It's
Absolutely.
more than just him, but it started out just being about Elijah, but it's more about his sons, but it's also about your sons. It's about everybody else's sons. It's about these sons. It's about these daughters. It's about us as a whole, period. That voices need to be heard. And I've just where I didn't have any idea how the justice system worked, how it doesn't work. um how things are being done in this world. It's just I never my eyes are really open to what's really going on, and I need to be able to find the voice that God has given me in the grace and his patience to try to figure it out so that I can help, but also speak up about the things that are being done in cases like this.
Yeah.
um I know we kind of got off course and stuff, but
We
the thing,
did, but you still you steered
yeah.
it back home. It's like you the host right now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, no, no,
Yeah,
no, no,
no,
no,
no,
no. I'm
no,
not
I
saying
get
it
it.
like that. I'm
No, no,
saying
I
as
get
far
it.
as you know,
Yeah,
your strength and resilience is amazing because
yeah.
you were able to bounce right back. And
I don't, if I cry, I can't. I just, and I couldn't even look at you because I'm just like, if I look over there, it's going, you know,
I
so,
understand, I
I,
understand. And
but I love
I
the fact that you're
apologize
human.
for
No,
that, you know, but
no,
you
don't.
know, when I hear about what happened to your son, and you know, I know the story and I know what
Yeah,
you're gonna say, and I have this footage and I've
right.
looked over it several times and looked at these things, and it just had me very emotional within itself. And then, you know,
Hmm.
to understand, to overstand really what you're going through and how hard it is and traumatic it is. So I know this is hard for us to do, but we're gonna get through it together, you know.
Thank you.
Um we're gonna talk about the night of November 24th, 2023 again a little bit more. So let's walk me through what they told you that night.
So, um, that night, after I was slammed and drugged across the parking lot, they pulled me out my pants. Well, they didn't pull my pants all the way down, but they pulled me down from the waist to about right up under my butt cheeks, like, and right above my thigh. Eventually, it was all the way down. My hands behind my back. My son's hand is pointing at me, and I am literally less than a foot away from him. Um, and people are video recording it. They're just letting me sit there. There's these two officers over me dragging me and grabbing me and stuff, and I'm steady trying to walk on my butt to get to my child. I just wanted to put that foot. I just wanted to put my foot on his wrist because my heart was like, this man is not gone. There's no way he's gone. Like, you know, I know some people probably think like, she just didn't want to accept that, but my child was alive and I knew he was alive. Um, just off from the phone calling. Who's pronouncing him dead? Who said he was dead? Who said that? When you got police officers there, and this parking lot where this happened in a strip mall. So there's all types of stores in this area, and the stores that are in this strip mall have all cameras. And I just want to say that just so that people know that the whole thing was on camera. There was a state trooper that was parked across the street, and he is sitting there, I guess staged there or sitting there, I don't know, but literally he could have walked across the parking lot and been right there. There were three phone calls that said, "Hey, there's a fight going on in the parking lot." He was there, sitting there. There's another call that said, "Hey, I think they're going to be over there fighting." He still sat there. Then he hears my son get shot, and he sits there 3 more minutes and then come across the parking lot. He's claiming that he um seen a gun beside my son, and he secured the gun, checked my son's pulse, realized he had a pulse, and then just stood there. And this is from his own report. Like, I'm not making this up. It's what he said he did. That he had a slight pulse at 240, I think he said 244, and then at 245 they threw a sheet over him.
That's weak as fuck. What y'all want that for y'all mother?
Folks, this is what she's describing to y'all.
Ain't no black cops on duty. Can we get a black cop on duty? Y'all soft as fuck.
So that's what she described. I'm going to play it one more time for y'all because I want y'all to see how they treated Patricia. As you can see, she was in cuffs. Her tights were down because they slammed her, so that made her tights come down. And she wanted you guys to see this because, matter of fact, I'd rather let you explain it more. Explain why you want them to see this.
And because sometimes when you tell these stories, you can hear it, but you can't visualize what somebody else is going through, especially when it's so traumatic. Your mind doesn't settle with, you're just hearing a story.
Yes.
I also considered the fact of, if I'm just telling this story and nobody has any visuals, when you hear everything that happened, it will definitely infuriate you.
Yes.
But it also will break your heart. Because I am somebody's mama. I am somebody's grandma. And if you see me, I'm crawling with my butt across the pavement. And if you look up there in the corner, you see my son laying on the ground.
What y'all want that for y'all mother? Ain't no black cops on duty. Can we get a black cop on duty?
And they just sitting there not saying nothing.
Y'all soft as fuck.
No response, nothing.
But this is after I don't even know how many it was on my back, but that's not it. It wasn't the two of them. It was so many of them on top of me. And I believe that they didn't want me to get over there to check his pulse because they knew he had a pulse. And I believe that's why I was slammed, because there's another video that he has that you can see right after this shooting happened. There's people all around my son. They're touching him. And the police are standing there. They're just watching it. They're just standing there watching it. They eventually make a border around him and stand there. Nobody's rendering aid. Nobody's trying to check on him. They just counted him dead, threw a sheet over him, and expected it to be that. No questions asked. None of this. They took me to jail. So I end up going to jail. With my pants down. I'm slammed and yanked and munched and punched down into a police car.
I got video. Hell no. Hey, that's my free right. That's my free right.
Oh my God!
No, no, police can't touch me.
No, 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 no,
police can't touch me. Stop! Stop! Leave me alone.
So were the police trying to like push him? Who's this that's recording?
Somebody that had it on Facebook Live.
Stop! Stop!
But I'm glad he did.
Stop!
Clearly this just happened.
Stop!
No, that's his girlfriend.
Oh my God!
So you're on the opposite side of it.
I'm not there yet.
Okay, so this is before him.
Let me see what
This
it
is
is.
right after it happened. Minutes after it happened.
So the cops decided to show up right after it happened, but when it was already reported that they were fighting,
They could have just came across the parking lot, and if you'd have pulled that car across that parking lot, that would have shut it all down. Nobody would have been
because that would have prevented the whole entire situation if they would have reported it. But come to find out, they were already out there anyway.
They were out there. They were out there, and they watched it because they knew that they. First of all, let's be clear. Let's be for real, because I told you I'm just gonna keep it real. When I say stuff, we know that when Black people have parties and all these things, that it's a possibility that this is gonna happen. They know that. They stage themselves around in the area because they know they're gonna be somebody acting crazy, cutting up, or some kind of something going on. Or somebody's going to be out of these clubs drunk. So they're going to sit out there and watch it. This is a white community, older white community. They're not letting all these people come down there and have a party in peace at all. They're going to watch and make sure everybody come and go as they should. And they're going to get to make their stops and whatever. And this is what they have been doing the entire time this club has been going. It hadn't been open long. So every time they had a party down there, they would be out there in that parking lot. But the police was always in the parking lot. There's never been a time that 2:00 hit and you didn't have 10, 15 cars sitting out there. So this particular night, Thanksgiving night, a big party being promoted, you have two cities combining at a party, and you're not gonna have nobody out there.
That should be the moment that they played the let out like no other.
Right.
I know how this goes with clubs. I've been to clubs, usually when the let out comes, the cops aren't in the parking lot. They right near the exit.
Yep.
Right there, just to prevent anything from going down.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. But the way this parking lot is
very
set up,
strange to me that they did not play the exits, at all, and really survey the scene of whatever would go down. And once you get a call that a fight is going on near the club anyway, you should already be instantly there on it.
well, he was literally, like I said, if he would have got out of his car from this gas station. So this was a strip mall. The strip mall was here. The gas station was the street in between the strip mall and the gas station. There's a street in between the two. That's how far he was away. The street. That's it. He could have walked across there and been up there where they were fighting, supposedly, in a minute. It would have took him a minute to run across the street, if that. It would have taken him literally a minute to run up there. So from where he was sitting, he could probably see what was going on over there. So he knew that the crowd was coming, because when you start seeing people argue and fight, people are all out there running around, video recording it, watching it. So there's a crowd moving. So anybody that's in the area is going to be like, wait, what's going on? And he sat there. And when my son got shot, he went across the street. Mind you, his girlfriend is the eyewitness. She's sitting on the floor on the ground with him because it just happened. He just got shot. The police state trooper car, the state trooper car was the first car on the scene. He's pointed right there at my son's body when he crossed the street and pull his car up there. So he sees my son right there on the ground, the girlfriend laying on top of him, other people over around him, everybody screaming and hollering and saying, "Hey, what are y'all doing? Help him." And they're not doing, I mean, they're just walking around like whatever. My son's girlfriend said that she said, "What are y'all doing? Like, help him." And they said, he looks dead, is what one of them told him.
Wow. So even though it was said that he had a pulse, they saying he looks dead. Now, I'm going to be real with you. I got shot in the head. I still had a pulse. So we know how this goes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Things aren't always what they seem. You know what I'm saying?
Because there's a bigger
So
God.
I think there should have been more urgent care in his situation to get him to an ambulance, you know, because then they could have helped him and he probably would have still been here. But if they just let him sit there, they let him bleed out.
They know that's what they're doing, and that's what they want because they knew what they were going to do, is how I feel. You know, they knew exactly what they were going to do. So they needed him to be dead because he would have been able to speak up and say, "Hey, this is what happened." They didn't want that. That was the whole reason. Because they're not walking around in hooded garment no more. They're in places where I don't have to shoot you no more. They don't have to do this type of stuff. Well, we'll just let them do it to themselves, and then when there's time to resuscitate or do something, you know, to try to help them, we'll just stand back and watch it. And then that way when they die, you know, hey, you know, they're not human anyways. They're animals anyways. So we're not going to go through all this trying to resuscitate them, trying to get them to a ambulance.
It's just over with.
Yeah, we're just not going to do that. And so that's what they and honestly, I just feel like with all the cases that I have been reading over and looking at, they've been doing this. People have, you don't know how many people have been buried and could have lived, but because of the way that things are done, and we're just told to believe what we're being told in these instances, they're getting away with that type of stuff. This was not new. Elijah was not new. This is stuff they've been doing.
So what do you know about the people that were involved in this situation? Did they give you any information?
So the only reason why I'm able to tell this story is because after I was taken to jail and all the things happened to me in jail, they're cussing me out, threatening me. I'm begging and pleading, like, why am I here? What did I do? Let me out so I can go see about my kids. And they're like, we don't know why you're here. The officer that arrested you has to be the one that reads you your paperwork, and he's not here. So we don't know what to do with you. We don't know why you're here. And I'm like, y'all know why I'm here. They're behind a desk and they got these monitors up, and you're seeing them all over there just laughing and pointing and talking and looking at the scene. That's what they were doing. And they're over there talking and doing whatever they were doing. I believe they was looking at the scene because you could tell the monitors, they were looking at something, and they were all over there talking. And I started screaming and hollering, like, if this was your mama, if this was a white guy, y'all wouldn't be doing this. Let me out. Let me go see about my children. Let me see about my child.
True.
Like, just begging and pleading.
That's beyond true.
It was. There's no reason in this world. Like, and so I guess I was making them mad because of the stuff that I was saying. And I wasn't intentionally trying to make them mad. I was intentionally trying to get them to hear me. Like, listen, I'm his mama. Let me go see about my child. Let me see what's going on. I didn't even know where he had been shot. I really didn't. I just knew he had been shot. And I didn't know where. And so when they finally did release me that morning and let me go, I went home. I just remember begging and screaming and pleading. I meant to say that one of the officers spit in my cup. All this I'm in the jail. All this stuff is recorded. So I can't make it up because I didn't make it up. These videos that they have taken inside the jail, they have proof of what I'm saying. And I just want to keep reiterating that. I asked for a cup of water.
So they spit the cop spit in your cup. So was it the same arresting officer?
No, this was the officers that was in the jail. And it was only one to act like he had any ounce of compassion, even though he was kind of stiff. He wasn't as nasty as everybody else. Like, he didn't tell me to shut the F up, or I'm going to shut you up, or all this old crazy stuff, or the more you scream, the longer you're going to be here. We don't have no control over how long you're going to be here. We don't know why you're here. We, just antagonizing me. People coming in and out the jail. There's one guy in there screaming and hollering, talking about somebody got shot in the head. I'm not knowing he's talking about my child. Because he was out there, and it was just a lot going on in that jail, and I was just triggered left and right, and I'm chained from my wrist to the floor, so I'm like freaking out, just wanting to get to my kids. And so I asked for a cup of water because I think I passed out once or twice in there just from the adrenaline. I never was offered any medical care. Nobody asked if I was okay. It was never any of that. It was straight like I had done it. The way they treated me was like, no, ma'am, I'm so sorry.
Like
I don't
you
know.
did it. They was
Like,
treating you like you did it.
I was arrested and treated like I did it. I'm just telling y'all that's the truth. That's the God's truth. And so I eventually, like I said, I asked for a cup of water. The cop went and got it. And when he got to the sink, one handed him the cup of water. And he brought it over to me, and I was getting ready to drink it. As soon as I put my face down to the cup, I seen spit floating on the top of it. So I'm just like, I know this is not what's really happening. By then they had been cussing me out. I'm cussing them out. It was bad. So I'm already knowing like this is exactly what I think it is. So I put the cup down and I'm sitting there like, this is crazy. Like, why is this happening the way that this is happening? Like, I was just in shock, still like wondering, am I dreaming this? Is this crazy? Like, so I asked the cop to bring me another cup of water. He brings it to me. When he brings it to me, um, I give him the other cup and I say, look at that. And he says, what is that? Oh my gosh, what is that? I said, it's spit. And he spit in it. You know, he spit in it. He was like, nah, he wouldn't have done that. And I'm like, man, it's spit in the cup. I didn't spit in the cup and I'm on camera, you know? So
Yeah.
they
They try to dehumanize you and dehumanize your son all within the same night. And I'm sorry you had to go through that, first of all. Now, I think that was a lot of BS the way they handled the whole situation, because, if they would have handled that with, care and sensitivity, he might have still have been here. He might have been different, being shot in the head, but he might have still have been here, especially with still having a pulse.
I don't know if in my heart, because of where he got shot, I think that his survival would have been really tough. Honestly. And I've dealt with that and I deal with that. But I do feel like my son deserved the dignity to be off the cold pavement, out there being recorded, bleeding out like that in front of everybody. Put him on a gurney, put him in the ambulance, take him to the hospital, let us come and pray over him. Let us come and have those moments. I don't feel like any entity, court system, police office, nobody has the right to take away something that they didn't give. They didn't give that life. Um, and they shouldn't have been able to deny me the last moments of my child's life. I was there when he was born. I should have been able to be there in his last breath.
I agree.
There was no excuse for that at all. And to be denied it, not only denied it, but being treated like that when my mind was just it's indescribable. My mindset of coming out there on that scene, seeing my child, having my heart broken all over again, because this is now my third child that has lost his life. And I'm watching this unfold in just right in front of me, while I'm hearing my daughter scream and collapse, while I'm hearing the other one in shock. And I see my child, and then I'm being slammed in front of all of them. Like, that in itself is, I know if my son could have got up off that ground and done something about me being done like that, he would have. And if I wasn't handcuffed and slammed to the ground and
I
knocked
would
out
have
of my
done
mind,
something, because, to be
there's
honest, that's out of pocket. I would have took a charge that night.
yeah.
Straight like that.
No, for real. Any one of
Because for
them
them
would
to
have.
treat you like that
Yeah.
is wild to me.
Any one of them would have
Um,
done the same thing. So I want to
so
say,
go ahead.
I'm sorry, when I got out of jail that morning, I was called 3 days later. I couldn't talk, couldn't eat. I was out of my mind. Like, I could not. And I just remember getting a phone call, and it was a blocked number, and I answered it, and it was the detective. He said, Miss King, this is Detective Alan Bonanno. I am so sorry about your loss, but I need you to come in and see if you can identify the shooter, because we're not from Buncombe County. You guys, party people were from Buncombe County. We're in Henderson County, so we don't recognize these people. So I need you to come in to identify. I came down. My son's girlfriend at the time, who was an eyewitness and stood there and eyewitnessed this, was there. My daughter, who was one of the ones that collapsed, she wasn't there, but she came on the scene shortly after. I had several family members that came to support that were in the waiting area while we went back. So Shay went back first and was interviewed. She came out, my daughter went back, she was interviewed, and then I was the last person, and the two detectives walked up, introduced themselves, took me into a room. There was a camera on the desk, a phone, maybe a TV monitor or something. I know that it was a camera in my face. And I know that I was being recorded because it was a 3-day-old murder, you know? It was all on the news. Everybody was screaming and I didn't hear any real verbiage from anybody because I really wasn't. I didn't have the capacity to think about what had happened. I know that his girlfriend was saying who it was, and what he had done. But she was telling the family, because again, it was Thanksgiving. So all my family was in town. His family was in town. So it was a lot of people in my house. And I'm just in the bed. I get myself together and we go down there. Like I said, this is how the interview part went. I go in a room. The detective has he's asking me questions. I'm answering him. He says, "Are you able to watch this video?" And I said, "Yeah. I just want to see
And
what
that's what
happens."
I was about to do. I was about to play this video, and I want you to explain to the folks in this video. Now, what's going on in here?
Well, this is after the fact.
I got video? Hell no. Hey, that's my free right. That's my free right.
So this is the same. This is the same scene, just a different angle.
No.
But this is right after it happened. This is like minutes after it happened.
Stop. Leave me alone. Stop. Leave me the fuck alone.
Come on, Tim.
Stop.
Oh my
Stop.
God.
Stop.
Man.
Stop.
The niggas.
And these cops are just standing there, arms folded. I understand that he's guarding the body, but
oh my God.
But he's actually not a body. He's actually not a body right now. He still has a pulse.
Right. Let me see who it is. Zach.
He's actually still breathing with a pulse right now. What you seeing? And this is immediately after it happened. Everybody stayed. People that scattered, but the people that stayed. And they're sitting around him and they're like, why aren't they they didn't even try to do nothing. They didn't check, they didn't do nothing. And mind you, the officer that came across, he was the first arriving officer. He was a state trooper. He was the first arriving officer. His log says he was the first arriving officer. And in his log, he says, witnessed a black male on his back with a gunshot wound and a gun that we believe to be his near his body. This gun could have been anybody out there that was. Let me just say this: if you the very first
could have been the shooter gun for real.
The very first gun. I mean, the very first video that you show where they're chasing him out.
Yeah.
These people are jumping my son. They're punching him. They're pulling his hair. One of them hit him in the mouth with a gun. They're just socking him and doing the most. Like, if my son would have had a gun, do you think he would have let 5 or 6 guys punch and slap and kick on him? He would not. He would not have done that. I know my child was not a murderer or a shooter because that would have never happened. We would be having a whole
video of this young woman.
On laying on top of him.
No. I remember what you said. You said that's the girlfriend. So this video, the other video that you sent me, is the girlfriend as well, correct?
The picture where it's just a girl?
Yeah.
No, that's the girl whose gun was used. And she's telling my son's girlfriend, she's being recorded, telling my son's girlfriend that she heard one shot that night and that she was told that my son tried to shoot the shooter by the shooter. The shooter told her that my son tried to shoot him and the gun jammed. And this is what she's saying.
Now I'm going to play that right now.
Okay.
We're going to play that.
out there, Shelby, the dude that was with Nook or whatever, he was saying the gun had jammed.
That's it.
On him, so I don't really know how to play
That's
those
it.
stories out because
That's it.
So that's all it was.
Yeah, because it was a whole. I had to clip it because I was trying to. When I send it out, I wanted somebody to hear her say. I heard one shot.
I'm gonna
Because
play it
his.
again.
Well, you might got. Let me see if you got the right one.
here, Chris. A lot of girls that was standing out there, Shelby, the dude that was with Nook or whatever, he was saying the gun had jammed. I seen the gun on him, so I don't really know how to play those stories out because.
So she said the gun had jammed.
Mm-hmm.
The other dude that was out there, his gun, he was out there, but the gun jammed.
What she's saying is that the the guys that she was with, Shelby, the guy that she names that Shelby, was the guy she was messing with. And he was the one that she told my son's girlfriend that night he took her gun. She was like, he took my gun. I don't know why he took my gun. He's so stupid. He always doing stuff. He took my gun that night. And I just don't have nothing else to do with him. Because she knew he took the gun and gave it to Terrence, which is the shooter. So that's what she's saying. That's what she's saying in the video. She's saying, you have to hear her whole, like, let me get it.
Okay.
But it was her gun that was used.
I have so many files, so I'm trying to
I know
pull
it's
them
so
out.
much.
So these are the actual faces. Let me remove this. And these are the people responsible.
Yeah, those are the people. The top one is Terrence Burton. He's the shooter. Keon Anderson is the one who drove away in the car and also who took Shaquila's gun. She told my son's girlfriend the next day that he took her gun that night and she didn't know why he took the gun. So that's what led me to start investigating because I'm like, what is she talking about? Why would she say that? And come to find out, she's like, I can't even imagine a mother at no, I don't care. These younger people they are just Lord help her. Because immediately she's defensive. Immediately she's like, oh my God, I didn't have nothing to do with it and this and that and the third. But every bit of the evidence and every bit of the reason why I started looking into her was the things that she was saying. Like when
So
she
her
told
story didn't add up.
it just was crazy. And I'm calling the police and I'm telling them what she's saying. And do you know they go and get her gun? This girl has 2 registered 9mm guns, but they get one gun. And then she goes on social media, oh, I got my gun back. Leave me the F alone. Y'all need to leave me alone. Nah, keep my name out of this, that, and the third. And I'm like, but you have 2 9mm guns registered in your name. Why would they just pick up one gun? And she said, well, they never asked for the other gun. Why would they not ask for both of your guns? So I called the chief of police and said, hey, why didn't y'all get both of this girl's guns? And he said, well, we didn't know she had 2 guns. How do you, as the chief of police, run somebody's gun record? Registry and only see one gun registered? That don't make sense. And it just was, I mean, every time you turned around, if you look up these articles, my son's name is Elijah Timmons. This happened November 24th, 2023 at the Orchard Bar and Grill in Hendersonville, North Carolina. If you look up these articles, I just beg anybody listening to look at these articles and you will see every time they posted something, it was a contradiction of the last article.
Story. Yeah.
Just every time. First, they said the gun was found on the scene, believed to be my son's. Then they said there was a gun found in his hand. Then they said it was found. One gun was found on the scene. One was believed to be his, and he appeared to move his hand in a manner of shooting a gun. I said, did you see him shoot a gun? No. Did you see a gun in his hand? No. Then when they showed me a whole nother video, now mind you, I think I hate that us kind of scattered because somebody won't be able to follow. But let me just say this. When I was brought to be shown the video, I was shown the video of the boy walking up to my son walking up behind the crowd of people. After they jumped my son, he left the crowd of people. Him and Keon left that crowd. I have video footage of him and Keon standing there the whole time. They done slap, punch, kick. They done did all kinds of stuff. They just all this stuff. They left the crowd of people, went and got a red 4-door car, pulled it back up to the scene. Keon was driving. Terrence went and got the gun from Keon out the car. He walked back up to the parking lot where my son was, surrounded by all the people that had been jumping him. He's inebriated. He's mad. He's cussing them out like, y'all done jumped me. He's all these things are going on. So it's loud. It's chaotic. It's a lot of people. He walked up behind the crowd of people, aimed the gun, shot my son, put his hand down, turned around in the little circle going back towards the car, get in the car. As soon as he got in the car, the back driver's side, the door barely could shut before it pulled off. He pulled off, everybody scattering, people screaming and hollering. It's all on video. They're recording it. People, it's all over the place. And that's what the cop showed. That's what the detective showed me. And he said, do you know who that is? Before he even showed me the part where he shot my son, he said, do you see your son in that crowd of people? And I said, no, I don't see him. But my son had a lot of dreads. And so his hair was up like this. And he had a black thing on like this. And he had his head up. And he said, I noticed your son in that crowd of people because he's the one that ends up dead. That's verbatim what this detective said to me. That's your son in that crowd of people. I know that's him because he the one ends up dead. He did not say, I'm going to show you your son getting shot, but I'm going to show you your son shooting back at him first. You know what I'm saying? He never say that. If you go on my Facebook page, you'll hear me. I recorded the detective and me asking him, why are you saying this now? Because that's not what you said. So before I go there, I'm going to say, he showed it to me. He said, okay, Miss King, you've identified the shooter. He said, there are going to be 2 phone calls. I'm going to call the district attorney and get a warrant for his arrest. And the second phone call will be to you after he's arrested. This is exactly what this man said to me. And mind you, I'm in a 3-day-old murder in an investigative room with a camera in my face. So everything that I say to him and he say to me is being recorded. Right?
Right.
Okay. So I'm being recorded. So if I'm making this up, play what happened while I was in that room.
Yeah,
that's what I've been saying.
Match up.
That's what I've been saying since this happened. Play what happened when I got recorded. So just keep that in mind. So a couple days after that, maybe a day or so, I call him like, it's not on the news. I've identified him. I don't hear you saying nothing about, not saying nothing about him on the news. He said, well, Miss King, we having a problem finding him. He says, we're not going to alert him. So we're just going to give us some time. We're trying to find him. That's why it's not on the news. About a couple days later, my daughter's car break down. She called me. I come to where her car is. And she says, Mama, this boy's mama's in this parking lot. So I'm thinking, well, if we find the mama, we can find him. They'll hold the mama till the boy come, whatever, That's what my process was. I get in the parking lot and I see that he's in the parking lot too. They had 2 SUVs parked side by side. He was in the back seat of one of them like this in between the seats. I seen him the way his head was shaped. I seen him. I know who he was. I knew exactly who he was. I come around the parking lot. I see an officer at the light out there from Buncombe County. It was in Buncombe County. I run to the light and I say, hey, this guy that killed my son, Buncombe County's looking for him. And they all knew what happened. It was all over the news. So they all knew what was going on. So he was like, I'm off duty. I was just like, wow. So I come across the parking lot. I get in the car. My daughter's steady calling the detective. She finally gets a hold of him. He says, Miss King, the reason why his mama's in the parking lot crying is because we just called her and told her to bring her son in about this murder. And I said, I'm confused. He's 30 years old. This boy is literally a couple days younger than my son, 30 years old. Why does his mommy need to bring him to the police department? Come get him and take him to jail. Like this is what I'm saying to him. And he was like, well, we're intending to do that, but we have got to do it this way. He's saying he need to get a lawyer, so we're gonna have to allow him to get a lawyer. So me not knowing no better, I'm thinking, okay, well that's procedure, and I'm, at least we know who he is, we know where he is. Now you got him, so I leave from that parking lot thinking I'm gonna get the phone call or it's gonna be on the news that he's been arrested. I actually, before I pulled off, one of the detectives that pulled up, because now police officers are in the parking lot. It was several police officers from Buncombe County. I think it was a couple of people in like plain clothes, so maybe detectives. They knew this murder had happened and they knew what was going on. They all knew.
They definitely knew what was going on because first of all, it happened in their district. Secondly, it's all over the news, it's everywhere. And like you said, they had recordings, and I'm pretty sure they probably was observing the body cams and everything to try to see what they could
Well, this was
put
the sister
together. But I
county.
don't.
This was the sister county. So this was Buncombe County where I was from. This happened in
Right.
Henderson County. So, but they're sister
They
counties. So
all coincide. That's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
yeah.
That's what I'm
So
saying. So
and
they
then they took
probably were talking about everything that
all of
was
it.
going on
Yep, all of
and
it.
sharing information.
Exactly. And they all knew my son, all of them. So they all knew that this was a mess, And so they told me then they told me that we don't have a warrant for his arrest, so we can't arrest him. And I was like, what do you mean? When I left, he said he's gonna get a warrant for his arrest and pick him up. They was like, well, ma'am, we don't have no warrant, so we can't pick him up. Keep that in mind. Because after I go through the trouble, after 2 years, I'm like, oh, I remember this happened. Let me get this information. So I can prove that this happened that day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They give me a paper saying he had 2 open warrants that day and they didn't arrest him. All right.
All right, so let me ask you real quick, because I got a few questions that I that this whole situation is heavy within itself, but I need to know, I want to know what was going on in your mind at the time when this happened, and how does it feel knowing people stood around recording instead of helping? You know what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying.
That part of it for me is like, y'all just sitting there like this. And this is kind of like coward culture to me. Like, it's a lot of coward culture because people just stand around and record nowadays, but don't do nothing.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
And I was highly upset about it, but even that was a blessing with the way that they did it, because if they hadn't have been recording that stuff, they denied it from jump. You know what I'm saying? So they went into this club and they took the system out the club. So they have this video footage that they're hiding and holding hostage that I have the right to see, and went to court and asked for and have the right to see. And then so, once I was showed, I'm getting all over the place, but I just want to say that really affected me, because I knew that people was going to have my son's last moments in their phones that they thought
On
nothing
camera,
of.
right?
That they
That's what
thought
I
nothing
wanted to
of.
know.
Yeah.
What was going through your mind?
It was so much to
knowing that
process.
people was doing that.
It
in
was
that
so
moment.
much to process. It was just so much to process. I couldn't even attach my brain to anything. I was so overwhelmed with just so much information and so much going on, and just not understanding why this was happening the way that it was happening, and nobody was doing anything. I do know that people were saying, y'all not doing nothing for him. So they kept him away from him so nobody could resuscitate. And there was a lot of CNAs and people that knew how to check a pulse. You know what I'm saying? So there was people that knew he had a pulse. There was people that knew that nobody ever tried to do anything for him. But what could they do? You're surrounded by the police officers, and they're out there putting tasers in people's faces and cussing them out and slamming them on their necks and
So they
taking them
was
to
threatening
jail.
to tase people in the crowd.
They was out there just acting like they was acting like
savages. You can
savages.
say it the way it is. They
That-
savages.
Yeah, they was acting completely like some unloosed animals. They were treating us and the people that was out there like the people that they were behaving like. They were acting unnecessarily abusive, negative. There were so many people standing there, and you couldn't get they look at the articles. Nobody would give us their names. Nobody would even tell us what happened. That's a lie. There were people there calling on 911 telling, hey, I seen this. I seen who this is. But they didn't do nothing about it. He had a whole eyewitness. His girlfriend was in every video that I have. And the whole way through, you see her there. And she was standing there when he got shot. She told them what happened. They dismissed it. After I see them and ask them why he's not arrested, 3 or 4 days later, they said, hey, we need you to come in here and we got to talk to you. I said, listen, I can't come because my son's funeral is this Saturday. I don't know how I'm going to feel. Tuesday is when they wanted me to come. Saturday was my brother's birthday. Tuesday was my mama's birthday. And so I'm like, I don't even know how my brain is going to work right now. I can't process this stuff. I'm trying to figure out last outfits, obituaries, where these kids going to be, how they going to be dressed, all these things I'm having that's left on my lap. And I can't even process what you're talking about. Why is this boy not arrested? So when I go down there, me and my daughter go to talk to them. The district, it was the detective on the case, Detective Alan Bolano. It was the district attorney, Andrew Murray, and the captain of the police at the time, Dale Patton. He's retired now. So we're sitting at a table that's kind of like a L. So I'm sitting here, my daughter's sitting to the right of me, the detective sitting directly to the left of me at the corner of the other table, the district attorney in the middle, and the captain on the end. The captain is really quiet. He's not really saying much of nothing. They just start rambling on. Well, Miss King, after we watched this video, we noticed that your son had a pop of light over his head. I said, what are you talking about? Well, he had a pop of light. And that was a muzzle, we believe was a muzzle flash. Now, mind you, he said we believed was a muzzle flash. I said, what's a muzzle flash? It's a fire that comes out of a gun whenever a gun is discharged. I say, sir, I said, listen, I'm not following this story because, for one, if you've seen a muzzle flash, that meant my son shot, is what you're saying. And if my son shot, why didn't people scatter when my son shot first? Why people didn't run when that happened first? Why did they run?
And that doesn't make sense. If he pull out, first of all, when you pull out any pistol around crowds of people getting out of the way.
Out of there.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Nobody ran. And then I said, they didn't run until my son hit the ground. You know what I'm saying? And so he goes, well, Miss King, we looked at these videos, hours and hours was looking at them. 50 people looked at these. I said, sir, if 50 people, it wouldn't have took but one person to see what y'all showed me. So I'm confused at what you're talking about you seen. Well, after we looked at it and diaphragmed it and broke it down and looked around, we noticed that your son moved in a manner of having a gun in his hand. I said, did you see a gun in his hand? He said, no. I said, well, how can you say he shot? Well, that light that popped, we just assumed it was, I said, assumptions, no direct identification. I mean, you just not saying nothing that match. It don't make sense to me. What you're saying is that you believed, not that won't stand up in court. You believe won't stand up in court. You think it appeared. None of those things will stand up in court. And I'm not stupid. So what are you talking about?
So go ahead.
No,
well, I wanted to ask a question.
Okay, go ahead.
But
go ahead.
And it's pertaining to what you're saying. But I remember something that you told me. And you said that there was a weapon, but this weapon has no GSR discharge on your son's hands, doesn't have GSR discharge or anything on it.
No. I asked the coroner and I recorded him. Did y'all test my son for gunpowder residue? He said, no, we did not. I said, why wouldn't they test him for gunpowder residue if they thought he shot
if he shot a gun?
He said, that's a good question.
So, my next question is, if there's no GSR on his hands, how could they say anybody was justified in anything if there's no residue on his hands? You know what I'm saying? So what was the next course of action that was taken after the autopsy revealed that there was no GSR on his hands?
Well, the autopsy didn't reveal that. What happened was, I petitioned the court for the video footage because they took me to jail, and I need to prove. They said I punched a cop in the face and I kicked him in between his legs, and I wanted to prove that I did not do that. And I was saying, if that happened, if they got hit while they was slamming me down and doing all that stuff, then I can't say what happened. All I know is I didn't deliberately hit nobody. So I said I wanted to prove that. So as I was asking for those video footage, somebody said, do you know you can ask for the footage to show what happened to your son? So that's basically what I did. As we did that, the judge said, yeah, I'm gonna let her see it. I gotta watch it, and then I'm gonna let her see it. So there was supposedly 24 hours of body dash cam footage and surveillance camera footage. And I was granted to see it, but then they said, we're gonna pick which officers. Now, they said who's ever officers was out there that body dash cam picked up my son or me or my voice, I could get their video footage. What they did was pick the ones they wanted me to see.
But how many officers were there exactly in total?
They claim it was 24, 25 officers.
And you only seen how many clips?
I actually seen 2 clips. Because when I was brought in to see the 2 clips, um, I remember the judge saying, I need you to play this video for her and make it make sense, meaning mash play, no clips. You know what I'm saying? Just mash play from the time he got to the parking lot, went inside the club, came outside the club, shot. He wanted them to show me that. So when I get to see the video, I walk in the room. It's just me by myself, of course. They wouldn't allow anybody else. I'm not even his father. Um, it was a big huge TV screen, and then there was a bunch of blocks going down the screen. There was the detective, their attorney, and the chief of police in this room. I sat here. The attorney was sitting like behind my back, and she had a laptop up. And the detective sat across the table from me, and the chief of police sat at the end of the table, directing or mashing. I don't know who was mashing the play button, but I kept hearing this clicking. So he goes, "Are you ready to watch it?" I say, "Yes, sir." He starts playing it. Um, um, I think this is important to say this too. He said to me that when he got the phone call that I had been slammed and all that stuff happened, it pissed him off. This is his own words. That really pissed me off to know that he said, I went in that room and I said, what the hell did y'all slam this woman for? Why did y'all do that? And they said, well, let me show you why. Let me show you what she was doing. This is how he said it. Let me show you what she was doing. So he showed me a video of me cussing them out, calling them all kind of names, flipping out, screaming and hollering. You know, I was inside of a police car doing this. And so he wanted me because I'm still able to see my child. They're pushing my daughter across the parking lot, being mean to everybody out there. I mean, just freaking me out. And I can still see my child, and I'm sitting in the back of a police car, not knowing I'm going to jail. So that's what he wanted. He wanted to tell me that. So then he starts smashing play. He shows me the inside of the club, and I'm showing when I start seeing the inside of the club, I'm like, oh my God, like these people, all 3 of them, all Terrence, Shaquila, and Keon are all sitting in a little booth, and they're sitting together. You see my son standing around. He got these beers. He's standing there. He's dancing. He's, talking to people. He, staggering around, like, just having them a good little time. And then you see them all just quiet watching him. The group of friends that was going to jump in when he came
So
outside,
this
they're
was
all
meditated.
all of them out there watching him. Everybody's lined up. Everybody watching him. He the only one dancing. Everybody else still and watching. I noticed that off the bat. Then I see my son. These 2 boys. My son come from around the bar area. These 2 boys are walking towards my son, and one of them tried to bump him. You see his movement. He tried to bump my son, but my son kind of fell, staggered back like that, and so he didn't get to make body contact with him. But the other boy came behind him and bumped him like that really hard. When he bumped him really hard, my son looked around and you could tell he was like, oh, I'm in here by myself. And all these people from that hood that I'm talking about is called Hillcrest. All of them were standing around. So he he threw the beers in the trash. He went through the corridor. He disappeared in the corridor because people was leaving. It was after 2:00. They're all leaving they're all leaving. So I say, do you not just see that? I'm telling the police officer, I'm like, do you not see that? I said, that's a whole setup. You don't see what's happening? They all looking at each other. I said, do you see how they followed him out the club and all that stuff? And then they jumping when they get him outside. No, he wasn't jumped. He just got into a fight with the one boy. I said, sir, I got the other side of the video now. Where he showed me going out the door. Somebody video recorded my son coming out the door. The cop in that video where the detective is showing me, you see my son coming out the door backwards.
So I got a few more questions I need to ask you. We about to close. We got a few minutes before we close out.
Okay.
So I want to ask you these questions, and these are some deep questions, and you can just answer to the best of your ability. Okay.
Okay.
All right. How are you taking care of your mental health through this struggle?
Well, in all honesty, I have 2 therapists, so I'm on it. I know it's necessary. I know I'm not ashamed of it. I know that I need it to be able to process. Um, I try to take self-care days and that what it looks like for me is to sometimes not do anything. Lay in my bed, pray, just spend some time with God. I don't force myself to do anything. I work because it gives me peace to be around people's kids and the job that I do. I'm around a lot of kids in the community. I get to talk to them. I get to tell them, right from wrong, and, just promote good, you know, thinking for them and choice making for them, and those types of things. So I enjoy my job. Um, it keeps me busy, so I don't have to freak out all the time. And then I am definitely engulfed in these kids' lives. So I have 6 grandkids without a father. My youngest son, who was killed 9 years ago, almost 9 years ago, I have custody of his daughter. But I am all in my son Elijah's kids' life. So anytime I have to get them, anytime I need to get them, anytime I want to see them or they want to call me, we're doing that every day, all day. So um, that's pretty much my days.
Okay, so has this tragedy pushed you into advocacy or activism? And if so, you can talk about it a bit.
Absolutely. I was going to say that, but I thought maybe this would be one of the questions. I didn't want to overlap, but yeah, absolutely. I have the way that I was done with this situation, the narrative changed immediately. This guy got self-defense. He's walking around living his best life. If that ain't sickening enough, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, it's hard enough to lose a child, but the way that you lose a child can also damage who you are completely from the time you get the phone call for the rest of your life. And I knew that I could not live in this life accepting a lie. I knew that my son's legacy um, is not going to be the lie that the narrative that they painted. I'm not going to allow that. And I know that during this fight, getting videos, going to court for stuff, filing my own lawsuit, just doing everything that I can do to try to show that I'm not making this stuff up. Um, I've done also try to get mothers who have lost their children. I mean, we're connected. Now we know what other people don't know. There's an unsaid um verbiage with the moms because we all know these days, how countdowns are, how when it
Yeah, how
happens to
hard it
somebody, it's
is.
like how hard
Yes.
it is. Like, so we
Yes.
know. So I've been doing all kinds of anything that anybody asks me to show them how to file for stuff, look for things. I go to all kinds of city council meetings and different things. I started out doing all that. Any type of activism that I can do in the community for people who have lost their children, for the kids, for the fathers of the fathers have lost their lives. Their kids are out here suffering. I'm always speaking up for them. I went to Selma, Alabama, and was able to walk do the through the Bloody Sunday. Where Martin Luther King marched. I went to the Tuskegee Airmen.
Ain't that where you met my mentor, right?
Yes, that's where I met her at. Yeah,
Shout out to Dr. Portia Miller.
absolutely. And they were all
So
everybody was so good to me.
yeah. So are there any organizations or movements that you're working with directly at this moment? And if so, you can talk about that.
Well, I definitely am trying to get wholeheartedly signed on to the Black Lives Matter. I feel like Black Lives Matter. So
Yeah,
I
Black
definitely want to
Lives
be a
Matter
part of.
grassroots.
Yes. I want to be definitely a part of any movement that's gonna answer questions and help mothers and grandmothers and children figure out what happened to their loved ones. I think that it's important to raise up a community who are getting um the right type of information. I think that just telling people fight and not give them tools is just backwards,
It's
So
backwards, yes.
yeah.
Well, I will be happy to have you in our organization. I already recruited you, so the
Yes.
cat's out the bag.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm happy to have you in our organization, and I can't wait till you do onboarding, and you get to meet the rest of your grassroots family. It's gonna feel like feeling like no other. Trust and believe.
Yes, definitely.
And if you met my mentor, and like you said, that was a great feeling down there. That's East Atlanta DeKalb. You know what I mean? They be in their bag, and they show love to our justice families. And it'll be the same here. We in the same state, so we gonna link up, and we're gonna do some things together for these families and people that experience the same trauma. You know, how can people support you and your family right now?
Well, honestly, writing the governor and the attorney general, I know people have been doing that for 2 years. This has been going on for 2 years. I have been ignored. I know that they kind of have a system that wings out conversations or whatever, and they kind of focus on what they want to focus on. But I think it's pretty sad that we elect these people to do a job and they turn their backs on you when stuff like this happens. I have nothing good to say. I'm not a negative person. I'm not a nasty person, and I'm not talking bad just to talk bad. I'm telling you, literally, I have went from every organization, every any type of justice system, any place you tell somebody to go. I have gone. I have reached out. I want to say this real fast before it's over with, but there has been some stuff coming out at that police department left and right. If you look up Hendersonville, North Carolina, you're going to see all types of stuff, and you're going to read into the unsaid stuff that this is the way that they treat people. There's the way that they treat the black people. This is what is going, the brown people, like this is what's going on down there, and everybody knows it. Anytime you ask somebody about it, they go, "Oh yeah, that's a sundown in town. Stay out of
Yeah,
there."
I looked up
I mean,
Hendersonville, and
yeah,
the
they
history
do the
is
most.
definitely dark.
Yeah, it is. And so after all this happened, like, so my son, the gist of my story is my son was lured into a parking lot, jumped and shot, and no aid was rendered. Then they tried to muzzle me by telling just, hey, he died. That's it. That's all. Go on. And now this is self-defense, which was not self-defense. They did not show
It
me
wasn't
self-defense
self-defense. The
at all
video doesn't
whatsoever.
show self-defense.
Never was
And it definitely
self-defense.
shows the crowd of men going around him. So for them to say that nobody jumped him was ludicrous to me.
Yeah, it was a blatant lie. And then for him to get shot like he did, where there's several people watched it, what was so hard to see? And he kind of mimicked and marked and said little slick stuff to me like, "Man, Miss King, I'm so sorry that nobody cares enough to come and speak out about what happened to Elijah." And that's the joke to him, to say to me, to spit in my face. That's all it is, because he knows that there's a video. Nobody should ever have to come and tell you nothing about what happened to
Yeah,
Elijah.
there
It was
was no
all caught on
sincerity
camera.
there.
It was all caught on camera. And they know it was all caught on camera. And they showed it to me. And then they showed me that day a fabricated video footage. And when I called him out, he flipped out, left out the room. You're relentless, hooping and hollering, left out the room. And then later in December, when I told you his attorney was sitting behind me, she was recording me, and she said, "Hey, we recorded her showing her the fake video, and we recorded her showing her the real video." I'm saying show both videos so you can prove that they're doing what I'm telling you they're doing. And then other people like the SBI, the FBI, they're saying, why would somebody take and jeopardize their own livelihood to do this? Because they're comfortable doing it. Ain't nobody gonna do that. Why would you? Why? Because they know nobody's gonna believe it. When you call Henderson County and say, "Hey, what happened to Elijah Timmons?" "Oh, we got a video of him shooting at this guy." That's what they'll tell people, and so people are gonna
So
believe that
where's the
because that's where
weapon?
they're getting it from. They shipped the weapon off to Tennessee, and it's on the documentation that it left the crime scene straight to
Why did
Tennessee.
it do that?
Because they don't want it tested. They didn't want it tested because it never was. Apparently, the gun that they found on the ground was never either shot. Didn't have my
Who did
son's
the weapon
handprint on it.
belong to?
We have no idea.
Wow.
And then the autopsy comes out and says the bullets on the scene, the shell casings that y'all claim y'all found on the scene, didn't match the gun y'all claim y'all found on him. So he didn't have no gunpowder
He
residue.
didn't shoot nobody. That's
He got no
why.
gunpowder residue. He didn't have there's the bullets don't match the gun that y'all say he shot. The gun was never tested. What does that tell you?
He never shot anyone, and
He
they
never
just
shot.
want to throw the case away and just
go.
be done with it.
Well, the case has been closed. The case was actually closed 10 to 16 days after my son was killed. The fastest closed case of a murder scene I've ever seen in my life. Like, they just shut it down. They want me to go away. They want me to be quiet. The governor doesn't want to respond. I went out there to the SBI after their officer got fired and said, "Hey, I got fired, and everything this woman is saying is the truth."
So what
And
do you
they
want to say
still
to
won't do
leaders?
nothing.
What do you want to say to leaders who have the power to create change?
I know that this is an overwhelming space because this is happening left and right. There's so many different cases, and you have to wing through what's true and what's not, and you got to have the mental capacity. So I do understand that. But if somebody's coming with the book of stuff that I have, help us mothers out. We're suffering enough. Nobody's gonna go and endure all this to be telling a lie and just want justice for our children. We deserve a closure. We deserve to know and have transparency from these police departments. And I think, you guys are in this position to hold them accountable. You are in a position to push some envelopes and some narratives to open some doors to say, hey, we need you guys to speak up and give us answers to these questions so this parent can go and grieve. Like you have the power to do it. I don't care what color you are. I don't care who you are. If you are in a room and you're not speaking up for stuff that you see on a regular basis happening, you are just as responsible for the people who have killed these people and who have taken their lives and the justice system that is not being just. You're just as responsible. If you turn a blind eye and you don't speak up, you're just as responsible.
That's right. That's right. Patricia, I want to thank you for coming on. I know this was hard for you, and I hope I made you feel as comfortable as possible, to share your story, to share your son's story. And I'm thankful that we met, and we're going to try to create some change down here in North Carolina together,
Thank you.
And we gonna be like the mom and pop of our org anyway, because we the old heads.
Yeah.
We got a lot of young blood, so we got some young people to look out for,
Yes.
But
I'm looking forward.
they have their good heads on their shoulders, and they're willing to fight for change. So we'll get some things going. Anything else you want to say before we get off? We got 4 minutes, but it's kind of like getting close to it.
Yeah. No, I really want to commend you for in your own mental space, in your own loss, being able to do this. I really commend you for that, because like I know that you have to push through this, because if you didn't, this wouldn't be done. So I just appreciate you for that. I appreciate Black Lives Matter. I know it's had, a lot of people say a lot of stuff, but until you're actually
add grassroots, say grassroots.
Add
Black Lives Matter grassroots.
At Black Lives Matter grassroots when it's a lot. But I just want to say, a lot of people say a lot of stuff, but I'm telling you, when you're in this position, it's a whole different ball game. It's a whole different ball game.
It is, and I appreciate you. Thank you for that. You're right. I am pushing through it, but I know that I made a promise before my mama passed, and that was, if this is something that I wanted to do, take it serious and don't procrastinate with anything that I want to do. So I've been doing that, and losing my mom was the hardest thing in my life. You know what I'm saying? It's the hardest thing I ever had to do or endured. I lost my mom and my mother-in-law, kind of like behind each other. So in this life, I realized that God does everything for a reason, and it's to make you grow. So with that being said, I'm going to say I understand what he's trying to do. And everything that happens aren't mistakes, because he's trying to get something from us.
Yeah, trying to grow you.
He's trying to grow me. He's trying to grow you. And there's something that he wants from us, and we just have to be willing to give it to him. That's all. Yeah. So I want to say, don't hang up. I'm going to close out the show.
Okay.
But we're going to talk behind the scenes. I'm going to close it out real quick.
And thank you, anybody that took their time to listen.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. If you have any questions and want to ask questions, get on social media and I can answer any question. I know we're kind of all over the place, but I'm willing to tell anybody anything, show you any kind of evidence. I have it.
Patricia King on all socials, y'all.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Don't hang up.
Okay.
Folks, I hope you understand the severity of this situation. And if you want to join the movement, hit me up. Y'all know where I'm at. Matic Whitaker, Tigmatic Instagram, Tigmatic Facebook, the podcast with Tigmatic. You can even send messages to the YouTube. LinkedIn, Rashawn Whitaker, RASHANWHITAKER. I'm going to sign off by saying Black Lives Matter grassroots is Black Lives Matter. Once again, it's your boy Tig signing off. Peace. John Logic, what up?
What's up, y'all? Tune into the Pop Podcast with Tigmatic.
Radio for the Pop Podcast with your boy Tigmatic. Interview.
Pop Podcast, stirring the pot.
So tune into the Pop Podcast with Tigmatic on Caliwood TV.
Tune in to the Pop Podcast, my boy Tigmatic.
And going on radio. You might get some good music and some knowledge.